Hello, everyone. Welcome to the American Mag Show, 11 p.m. in the UK, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, USA, 5 p.m. Central Time. Welcome, everyone. After a big letdown, a debacle, and now a lot of people are just saying brush it off. Well, I don't personally like seeing the Toon lose, especially 8-0. To me, that's embarrassing. But we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. A lot of opinions. A few hours between the match and this show, so we've had time to settle, but something's still there to discuss. 8-0. My goodness. When's the last time the Toon lost like that? Probably we got to go back to the Mighty Winds prime years back in the 1800s. And I don't remember the last time we lost like this.
West Ham.
West Ham. When was that? What year?
That was when Alvin Morton scored 3 separate penalties against 3 different goalkeepers.
Yep. By the way, Roy Morton Trovag, our subscriber, our viewer from Norway, is it?
Yep.
Norway.
Right.
I got a notification that you super chatted. I didn't see it on the chat, but thank you so much for super chatting, man. Maybe it was on another show, on another stream or something, because I didn't. But thank you so much, man, for the donation, brother. It helps us a lot, and of course, become a member if you can. Also helps us a lot. You get exclusive perks. And this at the end of this month, 6 days from now, you will be getting a signed Andy Cole shirt. So for members. So there you go. Become a member now. Exclusive content, member giveaways. Hit the likes, smash the likes, please. It helps us a lot. And we might get Farmer. I sent you the link, man. Don't play me. You know you can get the link. We're waiting on Dennis to come on. But all right, let's get to it. I mean, 8-0, it was a disastrous an embarrassing match, to be honest with you. I don't know, man. Yeah, we played the kids, sure, but there's only one culprit. Eddie Howe put the players in, and I hate once again. I've gotten to a point where I try to stay away from criticizing Eddie because people have told me that I have an agenda against Eddie, and I don't. I really don't. This channel, you guys have heard me say it, he needs another season, and if things don't go right, then obviously we want to be a big club, so you have to look and see how he's making progress. But friendlies are friendlies until they're not anymore. And 8-0, no matter who's playing, they're representing the Newcastle United shirt. And it just, we are the joke of social media. If you want to follow social media, some people might say, well, who cares? Well, yeah, I mean, that's somebody's opinion. That's fine. But I don't like being a laughing stock of anybody. And losing 8-0, I agree. My counterparts, Mighty Wayne and Gary, were doing an amazing commentary of the match, by the way. Thank you so much to everybody that was commentating, that was watching that game, that was part of that chat. I appreciate you because over like 1,300 people tuned in for that one. So I appreciate that. And but at the end, they both agreed on the fact that, well, these are the young kids. These are the players that everybody wanted to play when they were questioning Longstaff. Why is Longstaff playing? Why wouldn't Eddie put in a young player or whoever's next? And the Mighty Win and Gary said, well, these are the guys. These numpties that lost 8-0 to the All-Stars of the Australian League. Well, giving Eddie the right of why he hasn't changed Longstaff or any other player that maybe needed to be subbed out. If there is one club like that was criticized for putting all young players, was Chelsea this season. Chelsea, a lot of the Chelsea fans blamed their owner for bringing all these young players, putting them all at once, and they were performing badly until the end of the season. They turned up and qualified for Europe again. It's not the same putting 11 young players, and even the veterans haven't played in 30 years. So if you put all that together, players that don't play with each other, then obviously you're going to get what you saw today, losing 8-0. That's just, it was going to come. And I know that some people think the Premier League is the shiznit and there's no league like the Premier League. I agree with that. However, there are other leagues. There are professional footballers that play today. They played the All-Stars, the best players of Australia. So what were we expecting? What was Eddie expecting the result was going to be? Was it a little bit arrogant? Was it, like the Mighty Wind said, a statement basically telling everybody and the people above that this is what I got to work with? So there you go. What is it? We can come up with many, many reasons of why Eddie decided to put these players out there, all of them at once, instead of putting an older guy here. Richie's played a few games. Dummett has played a few games, 2 or 3. So why not give him time? They said that we're gonna get into Eddie Howe's comments. Some of the comments. Somebody told me that he didn't put them on the pitch because they're running out of contract. So why even take them then? Why take them? Dubravka, according to everybody, wants to leave, and he didn't bring them to Australia. So why bring Richie? Why bring Dummett? We're gonna get into that. But to me, the ultimate blame for all this, you can say, is Eddie Howe. He's the one that put these players in. Whether he wanted to give a statement, whether this was a statement thing, a statement move, or whatever it was, the reason, he is the blame for this thing. Whatever importance it has, it probably in the next few weeks we're gonna not talk about it. However, today we must. We lost 8-0. But let me go with Ian first, because obviously the Mighty Win, or unless Mighty Win, you want to answer to me?
No, I'll keep my powder dry for the time being.
Okay, well, we're gonna get to the answer because
Evening, Bill.
I didn't understand. Welcome, Bill, to the channel for the first time. By the way, another American guy. You coming on, mate?
How you guys doing? I'm in just outside of Washington, D.C.
Hey, shout out to the DC Mags, man. Doing great work there. So welcome, Bill. Well, let me actually go to you. I guess we can go to you. First of all, what do you make of this loss? We're going to get into kind of, because this is 8-0 game, was kind of caught us off guard, but we're going to get to, people, so people can get to know you and your history with Newcastle and all that in a minute. But what do you make of this, I guess, unfortunate game earlier today?
You know what? I have a hard time caring, actually. Yeah. I really do. I think that we ran out a bunch of players who haven't gotten much in the way of run, a bunch of academy players, and they, it bears remembering that what the work that's being done now is the setup for future seasons, right? We have a huge number of players who are hurt. We have several other players who I think a lot of people would agree need to be moved on. So what do? I think you evaluate your academy players, and we ran out with an academy dominated lineup, and we got what we got. I mean, it's a friendly. I think probably some of the bigger questions are, did we actually hurt our reputation in Australia by going? But otherwise, I don't really think it's that big of a deal.
Well, okay. I think it's a big of a deal when you're trying to grow the fan base worldwide. They look like neutral people are going to become fans of the Aussie players instead of the Toon. I think you listen. If we lost 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 8 though. I mean, now am I losing sleep over it? No, I'm not. However, I don't. When you lose like that, I don't know if I can just say it's a friendly. But Ian, what are your thoughts on this, mate?
I don't think it should have happened to begin with. The only reason we were down there is because we need the revenue to help with financial fair play. That's the only reason we went down there for these two competitions. The first one against Spurs, we played our regular team the first half and bought on sub second one. This one against the All Stars really didn't matter. It's a PR nightmare for trying to boost Newcastle fans around the globe by, people, like I said earlier, spending 210 Australian dollars, which is what, 140 US dollars or 110 quid, to go and see a team thinking you're going to go and see Newcastle United play. And all that you end up seeing is the academy kits. That's the worst thing about this. It's not the fact that we got hammered 8-0. It's the fact that we're trying to build this fan base worldwide, and our fans spent that kind of money going to see academy kids. But it should never have happened in the first place. Like I said, it's all to do with the fact that we need the revenue from financial fair play, and somebody thought it was a good idea, and now somebody's realizing that maybe we shit the bed on this one.
Well, but I mean, but there was Eddie made the changes. The directors didn't tell him, the one condition is you play the youth. He made that decision.
Right, but it doesn't matter. You're not, especially right before the Euros, right before Copa America. You're not going to be putting on your best players. Half of the squad that you spoke about have already gone off to join their national teams anyway. Right. So they're not going to be involved. So and with the amount you already mentioned too, with the amount of injuries that we've already had this season, why risk your top players for a nothing game? Yeah. It doesn't. It does. Like I said, where it doesn't bode well is the fact that people that spent the money looking to expect to see the likes of Trippier, the likes of Bruno, the likes of any of the first team players, and not seeing any first team players. I understand why Eddie did it. He wanted to see what the players are. It happens a lot during preseason. Preseason friendlies. You see half the academy players playing. You look at what happened last year when they came over to the United States. And in the second half of pretty much every game, we were looking at academy kids. Yeah, they played the first team in the first half, but the second half it was all, and that's what they kind of did with this. It was like, you know what, it doesn't matter. So, let's give the kids a run and see what they can do.
Yeah. All right. Well, Dennis, welcome back to the channel, brother. And tell me, what are your thoughts on this match in particular?
At first, I think I saw some comments on Facebook. Obviously, where we are, Chris, I wasn't able to watch the game. I wasn't going to get up at midnight.
Yeah.
So I saw the comments on Facebook, and I thought, 8-0, and I thought, whoa, what happened? So I started reading, and everybody was complaining, and I was like, whoa. My first response was, hey, look, hold on. 3 games in 1 week, pressure games with a better squad than we've had a good part of the year, but not still a full squad. So there's some tired legs, some tired brains. These guys aren't robots. I said, what did you expect? And I was giving this one Aussie a hard time. And I think I need to go back and apologize to him, because I failed to look at it through their eyes. And when I tried to think about their perspective, somebody might have traveled 1,000 miles, 1,500 miles, or 2,000 kilometers from a different part of Australia to see their heroes, and this is what they got. I'm like, okay, I don't know. I thought, was Eddie Howe trying to say, hey, look, here's the rotation. If you want rotation, we can rotate. I don't think that's his personality. I think he was trying to be practical. This kind of reminds me of when Nirvana was asked to play on a show, and I think it was a British show, BBC show. It might have been Top of the Pops or something similar. And they told them, they said, okay, you guys can play, but we want recorded instruments. So we want a backtrack of the recorded instruments, and you guys can sing. So being kind of the punk band that they are, they got on stage and they played Smells Like Teen Spirits, Robot, and it was bullshit lyrics, and they made a joke out of it. And I thought, I wonder if Howe and staff were doing something like that. And then I caught myself and I said, man, he's got more class than that. What am I doing thinking? But that's kind of what it reminded me of. Okay, you want a rotation? You want us to come here after 3 days in a week? You want us to come fly 24 hours, and you want us to pretend everything's okay, and you want us to give you a good show? Okay, here's your show. I'm not going to go that far, but I did wonder about that. So there's my thoughts, kind of all over the place there.
Yep. First of all, thank you so much to the Queen of Heart who just gave 10 memberships away. I appreciate your support as always, Queenie. Always helping out, always helping the channel. The memberships have gone to Billy Trey from the Toon Review. Hope you enjoy that, Billy. Um, Darren Maxwell, also David Hughes, Santo, George Nada, Kevin Brewis. No, Man Mag already has a member. PK, Jake, Lee W, Menzel, Henzel, and yeah, that's it. So welcome to all of you. Congrats. Thank you so much to the Queen of Heart. Unbelievable stuff. And I appreciate your support as usual. It's unbelievable. So thank you, all of you, and all of our mods as well, doing a great job. Um, well, I mean, Mighty Win is your time to answer to me, man. You were very you saw the opportunity to slam the Eddie out brigade, which I'm happy to not be a part of. But I mean, everybody wanted long stuff. 98% of the Toon uh, population wanted long stuff to be subbed out, but you used
Me
this match.
included. Me
You
included.
yeah, but you used this match to say, well, we don't have anybody else to sub him with.
And my reasoning for wanting Longstaff out was that it doesn't matter who you put in. They cannot do a worse job than he's currently doing. Whether it's
Yeah,
his injury, whatever the reason, you can put anybody in because with him we're playing with 10 men.
right. But
If those 10 kids on show outfield today are what the alternative is, then maybe actually, Sean, you're not doing such a bad job after all. And that's how sad it is. That's how far our academy is behind the red. You mentioned Chelsea in your starting thing. Say Chelsea with their kids are above us. Bear in mind, what you are calling their kids and what the media call their kids, they're all 19, 20, 21. They're not 16, 17, 18 like these kids were. And this morning, it was literally men against boys. And it showed.
yeah, but the thing is,
Now, should he have played Dummett? Should he have played Richie? I don't know. What I do know is that having heard from lots of fans from Australia, including Mark from the Toon Under podcast, despite the 90 minutes, they all had a fantastic time in the bars, at the casino, meeting Shola, meeting Richie, meeting all the. And I just wonder whether it wouldn't have been a better idea to have, for example, the Tottenham game today and on Monday or whenever it was, Wednesday, sorry, if they just had a big meet and greet, very similar to what they did when they visited America last year. So it's been I don't think there's any disguising the fact it's been a PR disaster.
No, but I disagree with that. I know Ian was saying the same thing, but I mean, what does traveling have to do with this loss? Nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with it. It's the listen. It's the only person that put these players in is all at once. They're never going to play good. Never. Not against this team. Not against Gateshead. Not against anybody.
No,
because
no.
How are you going to put all these guys together and play? It's never going to go well.
Would you have been happy playing 5 first teamers and 5 juniors against Spurs and getting stuffed 5-0? Would you have preferred that?
No. I think the Spurs game, when you're talking about the Aussie fans feeling some kind of way about today's game, well, most knew, and everybody knew that the game against Spurs was going to be the one where they go and see their stars. Shola, so they knew that. And even when we talked to Mark from Toon Under, he told us we expect not everybody to come. Well, everybody went the first match. And the second match, we knew it was going to be, but you didn't have to. You at least could have kept some sort of maturity on the pitch. A lot of people getting on Kuol for not playing good. He's not what people think. How can people criticize a young lad when you're playing in a team that probably has never practiced together once. Probably. Maybe yesterday they practiced. But that's not good enough. So the same way
that team practices together all the time, with
No,
the
no.
exception of Kual and Ashley Harrison, who obviously were on loan. But the rest all play for the academy, so they play together all the time.
Well, I don't know. But hey, Neil, that's all people look at.
Yeah, it's a PR disaster, in my opinion.
Well, again, I don't understand why you say PR disaster. What did the club have to do? Because I've seen people say the club bottled it going to Australia. Why? Why, Ian, do you think the club didn't do right by going to Australia? Again, the club are just setting places to go there.
Allegedly, we're getting nearly £10 million from the trip.
Well, not this trip. It'll be with the preseason. That's what I heard too. That the whole preseason, with Japan included, this would be like 3 or 4 million. And
right. Well, even if it's just 3 or 4 million, that's more than 3 times what we'll get for reaching the final of the Conference League next season.
Mm-hmm. Well, so I mean, it's
money.
It's all about the money. If we weren't restrained by financial fair play, like I said, we wouldn't have gone down there.
But what's wrong with it?
Wouldn't have gone down there because it's the end of the season. It doesn't matter, does it?
Even better, Ian.
It really doesn't matter. It has no bearing at all on where we finish in the league. It has no bearing at all on any of the cup things. All it was just a PR thing to go down there. Like when they came over here last year, what was the point of them coming over to America then last year and playing 3 games over here?
Well, that's a whole preseason, man. Everybody.
Well, and that's exactly what this is. Only at the end of the thing, it doesn't mean anything.
By the way, I've never ever known a postseason tour before.
I've never seen it before.
But so now you're saying, now Ian is saying, are you saying, I'm asking you, that it's a bad idea for the Toon to go anywhere?
No, of course it's not.
No, I'm saying it's a bad idea to go after the season's just finished, literally hours after the season.
Well, he mentioned the US tour, which was preseason.
Traveled 24 hours in a plane.
I'm just making my point though, like you know, they have to go out and they have to see these things. You know, otherwise there's no point in doing it because they need the money because of financial fair play.
I have a question for everybody. Do you all think that we could have done a bit, when I say we, it's not like I'm in the front office there, that the Toon could have done a better job administratively to try to meet fans' expectations to prepare them, or would that have defeated the purpose?
No, I think if they would have been told
in terms of briefing them that there was going to be just the juniors playing.
Well, I think as far as I guess the second game didn't have any stars. I mean, most fans knew.
And that's the way you're talking about briefing.
I think what he's saying is that they might have done the fans the service to say, by the way, this second match is going to feature primarily academy players. And I think that probably would have been an okay thing for them to do. I mean, one of the interesting things to me is you look at the bench, right? They had Trippier, Hall, and Anderson on the bench, right? They were not planning to play anybody. And I think it may have been okay for them to have stated that that's what this was going to be. I think that would have been fine. I mean, if I were to rank the matches this week in importance, it would have been the Tottenham match over this. But by far the most important match for Newcastle this week is one we're not even in. It's tomorrow.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
If Manchester City gets the job done tomorrow, nobody will worry about the fact that our 18-year-olds lost to a bunch of Australians. Nobody.
Nope.
Absolutely nobody.
Spot on.
I feel like I feel a little recency bias here. I mean, it wasn't great. It doesn't matter. Absolutely doesn't matter.
Yeah. But I agree. I agree that the result at the end of the day, well, I mean, for banter, forget it. You know, I got a message. I got a message for some Mackhams. talking about it, but that's
Who?
irrelevant.
Who?
Exactly. So, but I'm just saying it's not to lose 8-0. I get that.
No, it's no
And-
fun.
but the biggest topic of conversation is why Derek the Mighty Win and Ian are saying that it's not smart to travel. I don't see nothing wrong with this trip at all.
No, I've never said it's not smart to travel, but
I just think
it's not
the timing.
it's not smart to travel and then having people's hopes up that they're going to be going and seeing the first team players and then not seeing any first team players.
Well, they did though.
But not in the game where we lost today, did they? And this is what
Yeah,
we're
but
talking
they
about.
already you already gave them one game. It's fair enough.
But it's still only one game. They were expecting 2 games. We went down there.
I don't know, man.
To play 2 games.
I don't think they
You
were.
know,
Listen, we talked to some Australian folks. They did not. They didn't even think they were going to get one game with the full squad.
Well,
And-
their opinion's not a monolith. It's not. There's not one opinion from the Australian fan base.
Right,
I think
right.
everybody understands that. Some of the people I talk to on Facebook, and I know Facebook and Twitter, or Twix or X or whatever it's going to be called next week. I know that is not a good sample size of everyone. I know people get mean. They're meaner online, but still, a lot of people went to that game today
Yeah.
expecting to see a football match. Period. With
I
a few
think-
of their heroes.
I think
They
the
didn't
players,
see that. They didn't see that.
but
They're
Mad-
angry.
Mad
you
Mag
think-
kind of nails it, saying that he feels like that it should have been one match and then an open session. I mean, that's exactly what
Yeah.
that's exactly what
Sure.
Newcastle did last year when they came to the US. We had 3 matches and then they had an open session in Atlanta. And it was fantastic. It was free. And that's how you go about building goodwill. And I mean, I agree to some degree that this was a loss of an opportunity for goodwill, but that's the extent of it.
Could have done a better
They
job.
did.
We
They
could
did
done a
have the
better job.
fan get together in the casino.
Did
It was very
Yeah.
very well.
I think. Look,
attended.
I just think that when it comes to the Australian folks being happy or unhappy, I think they might be unhappy that the game was nobody even tried playing the game. With all due respect, and obviously again, I go to my point. It's not that they didn't want to. It's just that the team was not put together well. If you're talking about their heroes, they didn't see their heroes today. I don't know if you put Lewis Hole in, he is no hero. He's not anybody's hero, but he's a first squad player that plays as a
Well,
star.
he's injured.
If you put
Oh, sorry,
what is
Lewis Hall. Beg your
yeah,
pardon.
Lewis Hole. So if you put him in the pitch today, he might make
He's
some sort of
my
a difference.
hero.
Well, okay, that's fine.
He's my hero.
He might make a difference. Trippier, is he? See, that's when things are not clear. That's when things annoy me. Trippier, is he going to the Euros? Then let him go.
Yeah.
It's as simple as Burn is not going anywhere. Why don't you just put Burn in there in the center back position? Have a mix of first squad players that are with all due respect, they're not Isak, Bruno, etc. But put them on there. That way you can keep the team balanced. And if you have to lose 3-0 instead of 8. Just in the moment. I'm not saying the score is going to mean anything in the future because it's not. But obviously the 8-0 loss has us talking about why this shouldn't have been a good idea. I thought it was a brilliant idea because when I started this channel, I wanted to help grow the fan base worldwide. And if I want to do that myself, obviously, in my idea of it, in my small help that I can do here, well, then I can't get mad that we went to Australia because the last time that we were in Australia, the Mighty Win was 15 years old. So it makes no sense to do that. You can't. When they went to Dubai, great. It's you know what I mean. To me, it's just travel. And I don't think that the club, it was a PR disaster, like you were saying, Mighty Win, because at the end of the day, if we lost 2-0, 3-0, nobody would be talking about anything like this. We would have been moving on, but it was about the game today. Now, tomorrow, everybody's going to forget about it, but it was Eddie's decision to put an entirely different squad than anybody will ever see again. That's just the thing. As far as the team traveling, I love it. I mean, I wish they would come to America, but they're going to Japan. Good for the Japanese mags. Traveling is part of it. And we have to understand as well one thing. I have to understand one thing. We're not, unfortunately, we're not Man U, we're not Arsenal, and fortunately as well, because some of those fans are a bunch of twats. But they already have a fan base out there. We have to work to grow our fan base. So that means sometimes you're gonna have to travel. You're gonna have to go out there and meet these fans. So I'm not opposed to it. I mean, going to Japan, that's gonna be one hell of a trip too. Are we gonna complain about that?
They could have done the Australia trip and the Japanese trip at the beginning of the season. It's the ending of the season where it really shouldn't have happened.
You know, you've still got the Euros and the Copa America to come. That's the
thing too,
strange thing.
You know, literally, we came off the pitch on Sunday and they went straight to the airport and straight down.
It's all money.
It is money. It is money.
And
Isn't it interesting?
DX has been on there saying that we've got £9.6 million for the two games, apparently 4.8 million each.
Well, I mean that's fine.
So,
I guess we'll never know. So
you know, that's a lot of money.
So we kind of gave Trippier a hard time because he spoke up. Maybe he spoke out of turn. I think I was one of the ones who said, you know what, you can think that, but you shouldn't speak about that, because he was dogging this trip. Isn't it interesting that he quite probably was foreshadowing a bit of this disaster?
No, but again, I still can't wrap my hand around the fact that we're blaming this whole thing was a disaster. No, it wasn't. It was not a disaster. We were making money, which is great, by the way. I don't know why people complain about making money. Going somewhere for money. It's good. We need it. And we beat Spurs. No big deal. Competitive match. You gave people what they wanted to see. And then the next match. Now, I agree with Bill. He maybe a little more clarity on this next match. We're going to, because of resting players and the different tournaments coming up, we're going to play a younger squad and give them an opportunity. Maybe that clarity would have kept fans happier, I guess you can say. But I'm telling you, if we would have lost 3-0, nobody would have been talking about this. It's a bad thing. You know,
I don't. 8-0's a whopping. But when you, like I said, when you're playing against the kids in a game that doesn't matter, you know, why are we even talking about that? You know, because it doesn't matter. Yeah, it was 8-0, but it was 8-0 against 16, 17, 18-year-olds. You know, it's like you put that, like you said earlier, you put those kids up against, you know, Gateshead United, you know, or even South Shields, and they ain't going to get much, you know, result ain't going to be that much different. So 8-0 for kids playing against adults is, you know, it was to be expected. And I understand what you're saying. I understand that you're saying, yeah, we could have put in different players and this, that, and the other. But the first team players are also wanting a rest. You know, they've finished their season. They've put their legwork in the whole fucking season. You know, and a lot of them have played because they, you know, basically on their knees because we didn't have any players to replace them or to.
Bruno played 50 out of 51 games.
Yeah,
that's unbelievable.
You know, he missed the game when he was banned for the yellow card, cutting up the yellow cards the first time, and 50 out of 51 games. That is remarkable.
It's absolutely insane. So, you know, they probably, like Farmer said too about Trips didn't want to go down there. You know, and I'm pretty much, if you ask most of the actual first team, most of the first team didn't want to go down there, but they're contracted and they didn't have a choice. Once they're down there, it's entirely up to Eddie Howe who he picks. And again, you know, they were contracted to put field in 11 players. So what did they do? They fielded 11 players. Didn't have to be the first 11, and it wasn't going to be. Not on that second game. You know, so you know, I can't put the blame on Eddie Howe or the organization or anything like that. What I do think, though, like I said before, is, you know, this thing would have been different if it would have been at the beginning of the season as opposed to the end of the season, because people are just coming back from a time off. They're wanting to get match play, you know, and then you could do that like we did when they came over here. First half, you saw the first team players. Second half, you saw the kids play. and it could have been exactly the same there if it had been at the beginning of the season. So we're talking July, August time. It would have been different. You would have seen the first team players play for the first half, and then the kids playing for the second half. So Eddie can get a look at who's possible to bring into to first team practice. But at the end of the season, there was no reason to play the first team on today's game. And
I didn't think you should have played the first. I was just saying 1-2 positions that could have been just to keep the balance. Burn, nothing to do.
But it still wouldn't have made any difference. You have one or two of the first team players playing with 10 other kids, right? And it makes no difference. People were saying about, why didn't they play Richie and Dummett? Well, I read today, and I don't know how true it is, but they're now out of contract, so they couldn't play them in case of
my question.
They're not out of contract yet, but they will be at the end.
My question is then why are they even there? Because Dubravka is got a contract, but he wants to go apparently to some people. I don't know.
Well, Dubravka's also playing for his national team. So Dubravka's actually out now practicing with his national team. That's why Dubravka didn't go. Because he's already out there practicing because they've got a game next week, apparently, a friendly game next week. There was a couple of others. Kraft's another one that I don't think went because he's got a friendly game coming up. Isak's got a friendly game coming up. So a lot of those players are gonna, didn't go or, were like sat on the edge about not going because they've got these, international matches coming up.
All right. On that note, let's hear what the boss had to say about tonight's performance.
The reception we've had in Australia has been incredible. A lot of Geordies here, a lot of people from Newcastle, a lot of people here from Australia, different parts of the country that have come to Melbourne to sort of celebrate the club with us. So from that side, we've seen lots of people hopefully acted in the right way to represent the club, and hopefully we're stronger. Reception.
Oh, I think that was about the reception in Australia. Yeah, not many videos on the match itself, of course. But all right, well let's get to actually one of our favorite parts of this show when we have new folks, and it's Bill, man. First of all, welcome. We usually do the introductions in the beginning, but there was.
I usually show up in the beginning, so that's good. Yeah. That's good news.
Yeah, but of course, welcome to NUFC Talk TV, and of course, man, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know I think you met Mighty Win over in the Toon, not too long ago, and I've heard about you. So tell us, man, how long have you been following the Toon? How did you become a Newcastle fan, and what you got going on, man? Because I heard you got a podcast too, right?
Yeah, we have a podcast called The Mischief of Magpies. We just put a new episode out today. It was about the Brentford match and superlatives from the year. So I've been a Newcastle fan since 1980. I was 10 years old, and a lot of people who are from Newcastle who've been to the town hall will know. They will have seen there is a display from when Jimmy Carter came over to Newcastle in 1979, and that was an exchange program between Atlanta, Georgia, and Newcastle upon Tyne, England. So that was the first year that they did the exchange. My city, Raleigh, North Carolina, where I grew up, was the second year, and so I came over to Newcastle as part of that exchange. I was 10, and we stayed with a family in Tynemouth, and the host's dad thought it'd be a really good idea in 1980 to take us to a match. And so we went to go see Newcastle play Crystal Palace. Alan Shoulder got the goal. I know this because I went back and looked it up. But I just deeply remember as a kid coming from a small town in North Carolina, going to St. James's Park and coming and seeing the pitch for the first time and hearing that, and hearing the crowd when we scored, and I was hooked. And so because Raleigh was a sister city with Newcastle for years, the only way I was able to follow the club is that every Newcastle result was put in our Sunday paper for years. So that's basically how it happened. Nice to see him on TV now, and nice to see him occasionally in Newcastle or elsewhere around the world.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. In your podcast, plug it in, man. Where can people find you? Tell us all about it.
So we're on all the platforms. It's Mischief of Magpies. It's specifically a Newcastle United podcast for, from the American point of view. It's my pal Kevin Sperry and I, and we have tended to only pod after wins this year. I've had a number of life events that seem to come in alongside with losses, but we do in fact pod after almost every match. And it's a couple of Geordies, couple of Americans here in the Washington D.C. area. So I hope people will come and check it out.
They've got a really good bar too that they have to share with.
Tell us about
Brentford and West Ham.
About the Hawk and Griffin.
The Hawk and Griffin. How man? Yeah. So I and another Newcastle fan, Andrew Hargreaves from Forest Hall, are partners in a pub in Vienna, Virginia called the Hawk and Griffin. Anybody who's here on the podcast, if you ever show up, Hawk and Griffin will pour you a pint.
Yeah. You guys get together every match, I'm assuming?
Every match. Every match.
Magpies.
They've got some good beers down there as well. I was down there for one of the games this year.
You showed up stealthy. You didn't even tell us you were coming.
I know. I turned up thinking, oh, great, they're going to be all there. There's going to be a whole bunch of them. And it turned out that there was something like 10 turned up, but apparently it was nowhere near the amount of what they usually have. I get there with Anne, and there's this one lass at the bar. I can't remember her name, and I feel really bad for it, but and she was like the only other person in the bar. She goes, oh, well, at least this, and I told her we'd come down from Baltimore, because we're not that far distance-wise, but the fact that we have to go around the Beltway around DC, it could take 3 or 4 hours just to get 60 odd miles.
It was a hell of an effort, man. It's
an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, it was a hell of an effort, but nonetheless, given Ian's great marketing about how easy it is to get to our pub, anybody who's here,
yeah, seriously,
just come out. Yeah.
And if you get off the plane at Dulles, you're only something like 5-10 miles away from there,
exactly, from
the airport. So you flying from Newcastle to Dulles, get off there, go straight to the Hawk and Griffin, get a pint and a pie, because they do pies and everything as well. Proper pub grub.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
Awesome. So there you go.
Awesome stuff. Check out Bill's podcast, The Mischief of Magpies.
That's right.
That's Mischief of Magpies, American. So we gotta support the American Mags, man.
That's right.
So when I nicknamed myself Chris the American Mag, I thought I was the only one in the U.S. But I'm glad to know that that's not the case. So, but let me get your thoughts on Mamardashvili. I mean, everybody's been talking about him. Some people saying it's a done deal. Fabrizio Romano, I think, posted on it as well. It just getting a lot of traction. But I mean, I just want to know what you think about him. But also, the biggest question, the biggest elephant in the room has been whether we should spend money on a goalkeeper. But I can also assume that if the club is willing to spend 35 million, 40 million for a goalkeeper, that we might have more money to spend than we originally thought. So let me get your thoughts. But you know what you get for assuming. What do you get for assuming, Mighty Win?
You make an ass out of you and me.
There you go. All right. Well, I've been hearing Mighty Win's opinion all week, unfortunately. So, Ian, let's start with you, man. Tell me, what do you think about this whole Mamardashvili?
Again, I have no idea who he is. I mentioned this last time. Unless they play in black and white, I don't really care.
That's a good analysis.
Honestly, it doesn't.
Tell me when he shows up.
Yeah, and until you see him on St. James's Park with a black and white scarf or with his jersey, then I'll start looking into the guy and thinking, okay, yeah, all right, so we just spent whatever on a goalkeeper. But until then, like I said, all this speculation about who we're buying, who we're not buying.
I know, but I get that. Yeah, you don't like rumors, but just give me your opinion on the thought of, do you think we need a goalkeeper? Simple as.
Well, if Dubravka's on his way out, then yeah, we do need a backup goalkeeper.
Yeah, but do you think Mamardashvili is coming to be a backup?
Like I said, I have no idea who he is, so I can't say.
But let me ask you: would you agree or be content that the club would spend 30 million or 40 on the goalkeeper that's going to be a backup?
You
Does that
have
make
to
sense?
you have to nowadays in order to get any kind of quality,
Mm.
regardless to who they are or what they are. You know, if we don't spend that kind of money on a goalkeeper and we want to go further forward, then we're not going to get anybody of any quality. And Keegan said this, you know, when he was there. You know, I bring in players that are going to push the players that I've got, or they're going to supersede the actual players that I've actually got. You know, so there's no point in bringing in a backup goalkeeper if they're not going to be pushing, you know, Pope for that first place. You know, and to actually, like I said, to actually get a decent quality goalkeeper, like to get a decent quality anything now, you're going to be spending, you know, 20, 30, 40 million. You know, you're spending that much money on a defender unless you can get somebody for free. You know, you're spending 50, 60,000 plus on, you know, on a midfielder. You're spending 70, 80 million on a striker. You know, it's not like it used to be where, you know, you could pick somebody up for next to nothing and you know, hopefully, you know, you pick up a Verdi from you pick up a Vardy like Leicester did. You know, picked up somebody who turned out from, wasn't it Dagenham or somewhere that he played for? You know, and ended up playing at top level and scoring like it. You know, those days for us to go further than what we are without going any step backwards, we have to spend money to, you know, in all positions. So if they spend 35 million on a goalkeeper, if they think he's worth it, and if he comes in, you know, that's what we have to do.
Yep. All right. Bill, any thoughts on this?
You know, I don't know that we've actually talked about our biggest loss of the week or even of the day, which was that Dougie Freeman has decided not to come to Newcastle, because what you're talking about here is, you know, is the person who is supposed to be the architect of the club. Now, I feel like without a sporting director over the last 2 years, and I say that with a wink towards Dan Ashworth, we've done a pretty good job with recruitment. But when you're talking about something where you're trying to build, I mean, we were just talking about the academy and how that, you know, that needs to be reformed from the ground up. We're looking, you know, we need someone in that seat who is a good you know, a spotter of upcoming talent. And I don't think that we've had it. I think that we've done I think that the club has done a good job. They've been a little bit lucky. They pulled Bruno Guimaraes out of nowhere. Yeah, I mean, for me, I think the biggest issue is, who's our sporting director going to be? The longer that goes on, the more I am concerned, particularly because it is just a simple fact that we are running on fumes as it pertains to financial fair play.
Yeah, and I think I mean, he definitely needs to be in the conversations when new signings come on, and so we might want to hurry up with that. Again, a lot of people's picks, because if he was a football legend, is Maldini. Some people say as well that he didn't do the job, so he should, you know, it should be somebody that knows how to do the job. Well, I mean, it's up for debate, that one. But Farmer, what do you think on this whole situation, man?
Well, I think diversity is important for a club, especially if we're trying to grow the brand, do the PR thing. So bringing in somebody with a 7-syllable name, Marmalade, Marshmallow, I can't. I'm worse than Chris on this stuff, probably. Yeah, bring it. Let's do it. And the competition at every position, that part I do understand, and that works for grade school, for Sunday league. That works for all levels of play. And have you seen his wife? I say bring him on, man. Talk about PR. That's good PR right there, buddy. That's success. That's success.
Oh, man.
Hearts and minds.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Holy Bill, hey, you talk about Atlanta. I went to high school and college there back in the day. I'm not quite as old as Mighty Win, but I'm up there. I got a few good stories back there, but that is one of the new soccer meccas.
It's incredible
in the U.S. And I say soccer because this is the American mag, so I'll use the soccer word. I know right. I'm going to get yelled at quite a bit, but association football, we have to distinguish there. Now I live in Southwest New Mexico, and I'm telling you what, I didn't do my research, but I expected this to be another soccer mecca. Now, our town is only 9,000 people, so I didn't expect something like I saw in Atlanta, where I did play high school soccer.
Yeah.
They don't even have a soccer team here at the local university. The high schools don't have soccer teams here. And this may come as a surprise to you, but New Mexico, this was part of Mexico until 1848. My university, the university I attend right now, is a Hispanic serving university, and we don't have any soccer going on here.
Wow.
Incredible.
It's shocking. So imagine
Wow.
me trying to get an American Mags base here, and I'm going to try to do it. I'm going to try to do it somehow. And what spurned this in me is not only the lack of soccer or football, but I saw a truck with a Liverpool logo on it, and I almost died. I was like, no, we're not having that. We're not having the only impact here from the Premier League is not going to be Liverpool. So wish me well in my endeavor.
Via con Dios, my friend.
All right, well, let's go with some comments here that we've highlighted for, from the folks. Of course, we got to give them their platform. Thank you to Queen of Heart for giving 10 memberships away. Appreciate that. Again, Toon Army Oz says, to be fair, a lot of us had been complaining about the extra games. It was a given that the kids would be out for a league game. Ian says some did not get to watch it. Kenny stream not working. Oh yeah, that's one thing. Not because of this channel, obviously. Nobody cares about that. But we were doing the watch along, but we were late because the stream on NUFC TV wasn't coming to us. I mean, it was late. It was probably 10 minutes late. And forget the channel, but the actual viewer that's waiting on the game, that's trying to see the build-up, it was unbelievably late. And somebody was saying, I think antagonizing Jordy in the chat was saying that Paramount Plus had it. I don't know if the U.S. version of that had it, because I was looking for it. It was 2 a.m. when I was trying to help the guys get ready. But meanwhile I was doing that, the NUFC TV stream came on, and so we just left it there. But I mean, the one thing that a complaint of mine is you got to be on time. This is a club that makes millions. You need to have your people ready.
Yeah, when people are paying for it, yeah.
And when people are paying for it, exactly. So come on, man. You guys got to do better than that at NUFC TV. And I'm sure obviously the club and all that. So it wasn't the greatest waiting, because on these things you just don't know. Everything is at the end of. You guys kind of see what the U.S. folks have to deal with, because with Peacock is the only one. Man, it just starts right at kickoff, and no build up at all. Just it's unbelievable, man.
That is so annoying.
It's so annoying.
We mentioned something about that to Darren Ailes too when we met up with him in Nashville. The fact that, and I know they don't have any control over it because, but when War Flags is like one of the best things you can ever see before a game, right? And that is the sort of thing that, Americans I think would really enjoy seeing, the entire stadium just all, flags, all these big posters. And the fact that there's none of that, you don't see any of that. It's literally, the whistle blows and the TV channel comes on and away you go.
That's right. And on USA Network, they do. So they do a better job. But
they don't talk about Newcastle. They don't talk about
Newcastle. They don't talk about Newcastle. Yeah, they talk about that. Yeah, you're right. All right. Owner Cartel, is the first time I'm seeing you, so welcome, brother. Says result not good, but not important. When Man City beats Man United, we will be talking about Europe, not the kids getting beat. That's right.
Yeah.
DX says this is why we're trying to sign 2 of Arsenal's kids, goalkeeper and AM
attacking
midfield, Chris Rigg, and youngster from Aston Villa as well. So, well, I will agree with that. I agree with Mighty Win and Gary that our youth is bad. Another critic. I mean,
literally for decades.
But why is Alfie Harrison? Why was Alfie Harrison not on the squad? You bring all these players in.
He's in Japan at the minute for the under 21s, 7-a-side.
Well, there was a reason. Ian says academy needs sorted. like, but will take a while. Yeah, that is true.
That's 4 or 5 year project. That
Beer Viking, people need to realize that the under 18s, under 21s, and academy was ran like women, like a women's team was decimated and abandoned. Our best projects sold, prospects sold. Yeah. Paul says, "No, Chris, the fan base isn't going to grow based on friendly results. The fan base will grow based on how successful we are." Well, there's a point there. DX, the conversation. Beer Bike and Bruno is on a holiday on Instagram. It's about the turnaround. Sunday Brentford, Wednesday Spurs. It's about the turnaround. He's saying, went to Brentford, Spurs, Friday All Stars. That's how you get injuries. Yep. Matt Fletcher, completely Eddie Howe's fault. He knows the academy players are shite, but why he didn't play them when he had so many injuries? That's what he's saying. All right. The ex-Kuol can't be blamed alone. He has a chance to make it one day. There are others who aren't up to it more than him. Well, some of those are getting released, though. Mad Mag, no malice towards the club at all, obviously, but one match in an open session would have been better value than paying to see the kids play today. Feel for the fans because Australia isn't a cheap place. All right. Jordy Revolution, who's in Australia, saying Australia isn't far from Japan. Would have made more sense. Well, yeah, I agree with that. And they could have you can actually hit a lot of countries if you just like one.
It's as far as Newcastle is from New York. They're not close.
Is that right? No.
Yes.
Really?
Well, Australia and Japan.
Yes, it's a 7-hour flight.
Is that right? Well, 7 hour. I mean, 7 hour. I mean,
that's shorter than it takes for me to get to.
You're American, man, but
Baltimore.
You're
to Baltimore. It takes longer to get to Baltimore. And
see, that's why I know he's a city folk, man. Here we're in the countryside. We drive. That's what we do for a living, man. We just drive. I gotta drive an hour to go to Walmart, man. So yeah,
I just got off the road driving from New Orleans to here. It was 18 hours.
Yeah, in the U.S. we drive, but anyways,
yeah,
Matt Mag, I get what you're saying, Ian, but how are Adidas going to sell Newcastle shirts in Australia now? After that, it's not exactly growing the brand like it was supposed to be doing. Well, I mean, you can't guarantee results, but so even I don't know. Yeah.
There's still enough fans, and this one game is not going to deter true Newcastle supporters.
Yeah.
The only thing that it's going to do, it might put us back a bit to actually get new supporters coming in. Because they're going to look at that and think, if it would have been Man U or Chelsea or someone, they would have played, but it's not, but Newcastle fans are rabid regardless to
the Aussie Americans are happy to see the Toon. And one great thing in this match, Dan Byrne, Murphy, who was on this team too as well, didn't play. They're all taking pictures, grabbing their phones, doing all that. So that actually, obviously, that helps a lot. Foxy says at the same time, it was an opportunity for those kids to show how they are good enough to step in next season when needed. You can see why some are being released. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some are going to be gone. Cool needs more time though. I think Mighty Win was a bit unfair in this live match commentary. Cool this, cool that, or cool this. Well, I mean, the team is a depleted team. What is he going to do? Matt Fletcher.
But I mean, that was it. I mean, we've seen the same in the first team this season, to be honest. It was almost a replica of the first team, the inability to put 3 simple passes together.
Right.
All right. Matt Fletcher, too many excuses. Too many excuses for an embarrassing Newcastle performance. Picking a few experienced players would have made a huge difference. Beer Biking. There we go. Anyways, to finish off, though, I got a question for all of you. On this day, I bring the fun facts. In 2015, today, May 24th, there was a magical moment in Newcastle. What was that? 2015. Anybody? Got a guess?
I don't even remember what we did this morning.
Oh man, there you go. So that's an out for Ian. Mighty Win, you quiz a lot, man, but you lose a lot of money too. So doesn't say much. 2015
season before relegation.
That's damn near 10 years ago. Actually,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Yeah, I'm still. Was that
That's unbelievable.
relegation? Was that relegation season?
Man, well, this goal, I'm just gonna give it to you. This
The
goal
Gutierrez.
helped a lot. But it is the magical goal by El Galgo Jonas Gutierrez against West Ham
Yep,
United.
Bill was right. Yep.
Is that what you said, Bill? I didn't hear you.
I did.
Yeah, you
I
did.
did.
Oh, okay. Okay, I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
That was that goal, by the way. I mean, it was obviously the goal was immense, but it wasn't the cleanest a goal. It kind of
No, but the shirt wave was class.
Oh, the
Yeah.
shirt wave. That's a typical South America, Argentine celebration. And unbelievable player. Deserved more, though, in the Toon. I mean, he just played for difficult teams to play for, to be honest. But it is what it is. Definitely somebody that we keep dear in our hearts. It was just in the Toon not too long ago. So there you go. Hope we had fun. But anyways, it's been an amazing show. Thank you, Bill, for coming on for the first time. Hopefully we can get you on.
Right on, happy to.
Yeah, man. You know, the chatters love you in the chat, and already. One more time. Your podcast is.
It's the Mischief of Magpies. I could have put it in my little lower
your name.
third before I came
Mischief.
in. But
Check out on all listening platforms the Mischief of Magpies. Bill and the lads talking about the Toon. So, anything else, Bill? You wanna let us know about?
no, that's I feel like that's about it. Appreciate your time, everybody.
Of course, man. Of course. Always. Tomorrow is what's tomorrow? Saturday? Oh,
Yeah.
FA Cup.
The FA Cup
FA
final
Cup
tomorrow.
final. We're gonna do
Come
a build
on,
up.
City, get your blue
Yeah.
scarves on.
Remember, on this channel, we're gonna do a build up about 45 minutes before kickoff, and then we're gonna jump onto our sister channel, neutral channel, to do the Man City Man U FA Cup final. So it's gonna be amazing. Oh, what did the City fans say? Come on, City! There you go. Come on, City. We're gonna have all our blue shirts. Sky, we're gonna be over the moon excited. See, you get that? Over the moon excited, City.
Yeah, very
Smile.
good.
Smile.
No pun
Anyway,
intended.
Is this 10 Eastern? 10 Eastern?
Yeah, it is 10 Eastern tomorrow.
Tennis or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anyways,
it is 10 Eastern.
That's right. So we'll see you tomorrow, folks, on this channel and then on the other one. I appreciate your support. Subscribe, hit the likes, become a member if you can, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.